Picture this. The year is 2026 and you are sitting in your gynecologist's office. You just had an ultrasound and she comes in or he comes in and says, "You have uterine fibroids," or "We found fibroids on your ultrasound." Now, your doctor will probably make some suggestions or recommendations, whether it be fibroids, surgery, or even just waiting it out to see what happens. But ultimately, you leave and you don't really know what to do next, or you're unsure about what to do next. Or maybe you've already been through this, maybe it was a couple years ago, and you still just don't even know what to do, where to start. So today I am going to share the 5 things that I would do differently if I were newly diagnosed with fibroids. Some things that I think have made a tremendous impact in my journey, because for me, it's not just about just eliminating fibroids or shrinking fibroids or stopping the symptoms. It's really more so about having a better life and having a better quality of life. And I think that these 5 things really help me do that. So before I get into those 5 things, if you are new here, I'm Shantae. I share my wellness journey, and part of that is me sharing my journey with fibroids. Now, I am not not a medical professional, so this is just my thoughts, some things that I've experienced that I'm just sharing with you from my experience. So this is not medical advice. Do not take it as such. Always talk to your doctor before you do anything new and whatnot. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get into it. If I were just diagnosed with fibroids today, one of the main things that I would focus on, or actually the main thing, the first thing that I would focus on, and if you've been around for a while, this is not really going to surprise you that much, um, but it kind of is. So, the first thing that I would do is eliminate stress. Now, if you've been here for a while, you have heard me probably talk about stress management. The reason that I am saying stress elimination instead of stress management is because ultimately I am realizing, or I have realized over the last couple years, that we can't afford to try to manage chronic stress. We need to eliminate chronic stress. Now, of course, there are some acute or short term stressors that you do need to work to manage. However, anything that is chronically stressing you needs to be eliminated. It needs to be figured out, girl, because quite frankly, stress has so much of an impact on your health that it kind of doesn't matter what all other good things you're doing. If you live a chronically stressful life, you are still going to be ill. And that is just the reality that, statistically speaking, that is really the reality. Speaking from experience, that is the reality. And so that is something that I have been really working through this last year or two, is really focusing on stress elimination instead of constantly trying to do all these different, tips and tricks to eliminate stress. We want to focus on elimination. Now, the next thing that I would do, and I know some people are not really going to like this, but it is just the reality of the situation, is I would focus on fat loss. Now, personally, I got like maybe like 2 years ago, I got up to, I was a little heavy, y'all. I was a little fluffy. I was quite fluffy. I'm still a little bit fluffy, but I had gotten quite fluffy. And so over the last like year and a half, I've lost around 20 pounds, and most of that has been fat loss. And I have put on a little bit of muscle, lost quite a bit of fat. But the reason that I did that is because, first of all, I just didn't like the way I looked. I just don't think that I looked great back then. But also, while I was doing it, I noticed that I started to notice that my periods looked better too. So that is something to keep in mind, is that your weight is, if you're carrying a lot of fat, it is going to impact your periods. So that is something that you want to start working on, because fat actually does hold some of that toxins and stuff in our body. It can get trapped in some of those fat cells, and some of that waste can get trapped with that fat. So we want to be working on getting rid of that. Now, the next thing that I would do differently if I were just being diagnosed with fibroids is, instead of focusing on just eliminating fibroids, I would actually be focused on my overall wellness and optimizing my overall health. And that means really coming up with a good lifestyle plan, some things that you are going to do to overall live a healthier lifestyle. Whether it's you're going to go outside and walk every day, you are going to eat more vegetables and get more fiber in, you are going to eliminate that stress, you are going to, I don't know, just do things that are going to ultimately optimize your health and optimize your wellness. I will focus on that instead of zeroing in on fibroids. And the reason is because for me personally, I started to feel like fibroids started to become part of my identity. And for me, that was just too much. Like, I did not like it. And you probably even notice, if you've been, following my content, watching my content for a while, or on this channel for a while, you've probably noticed that I have done a lot less fibroid content. And that's because, y'all, I was really struggling with me not wanting this to be part of my identity. And I find, after talking to some other people with chronic conditions and illnesses, that that is a very common thing, is that you will kind of start to associate yourself with this thing. And so I just didn't want to be the girl with fibroids. Now, I don't know if other people looked at me like that, but that's how I felt, right? And so I would highly recommend that you really start working on your overall health, because fibroids are really just a symptom of larger and bigger things that might be going on in your body. Now, the next thing that I would do is I would focus on a custom herb or supplement plan instead of just randomly taking supplements and herbs. Now, this is something that I'm not going to even lie to y'all. I did a lot when I first got diagnosed, because honestly, you kind of are like, oh, well, if I just take these herbs, and there are a lot of people on the internet selling teas and herbs and telling you that they are going to eliminate fibroids, and I'm telling y'all here, they probably not. It's probably not going to work for you. And the reason for that is, herbs and supplements alone don't really work that well. It's a supplement. It's an addition to. So you need to have your lifestyle together. Like, you need to have your lifestyle, be working on getting that together before you start taking herbs and supplements. Now, two things that you can do to come up with a customized herb and supplement plan, or really three things. So if you are interested in taking herbs, you think that would be helpful, is one thing you can do is go see a local herbalist. I recommend someone that you can go see in person. Actually, I want to say a lot of TCM doctors will do, herbal recommendations. So if there's someone you can go to in person, that would be great. The second thing that you can do, and something that I've done, is I started using Elix Cycle Balance. You've probably seen me talk about this a lot. I'm probably about maybe 9 months into using it. And what I like about Elix is that they do a custom blend. So your herbs are going to be based on what is going on with you. So they have you do a questionnaire, and they also have you send in a photo of your tongue, because it is a The company is based on traditional Chinese medicine. And so that is how they determine, what blend of herbs for your cycle balance formula works the best. And so I did become an affiliate with them. So I am going to drop my affiliate link below. But I found them to be super helpful. And I have noticed a lot of difference in my cycle. I have noticed a difference in my overall cycle, not even just my period, but I can even tell in luteal phase. I feel like I have a much easier luteal phase as I'm taking that. Now, the last thing that I would do, and actually, I probably should have mentioned this first because this is something that I really should have done years ago or worked on years ago. And that is put together a solid medical and wellness team. I'm not gonna lie, this has honestly been the hardest part of my journey, is really getting a solid medical team. And I'm gonna talk more about this and more about this part of my journey with y'all. I'm gonna do some more videos on this because it is a harder part. But I do feel like it has been a hindrance to me not being able to put together or work with the right people when it comes to my wellness. It has been frustrating for me. And I do feel like I probably would be further along. I probably might not even have fibroids at this point had I found the right people earlier on. Even right now, the colleges that I'm seeing, I don't love my experience with her. I don't really think we are aligned. In fact, the last time that I went, something happened and I was like, I really got to find me a new gynecologist. But I've been seeing this lady for like 5 years, and the whole time I've known that this wasn't really a great fit. But it does take a lot of time to do the research and figure out who works with your insurance, or if you need to just pay for it out of pocket. It does take time. So I'm not going to be up on myself too much about it, but I do recommend looking for professionals. Like, if you don't feel good about the person that you're seeing, don't keep staying like I did. Go ahead and move on to the next thing, or move on to the next practitioner, find you somebody else. So those are the things that I would do differently if I were just newly diagnosed with fibroids today. Y'all, let me know in the comments if there's something that you would add to this list. I'm also going to drop a link in the description to my ebook, Habits of Fibroid Management. It is a laid out book that it's perfectly organized. I address all the areas of concern that you need to address if you are trying to eliminate fibroid symptoms. And I give you very actionable steps at the end of each chapter. And I think I even include some resources for you to, do further research if you want to read more or learn more. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you are new here, introduce yourself in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video.